Okay, on the last video we talked about the kitchen and what kitchen is, and some of the limitation and the location of the kitchen. On this one, I'm going to tell you some of the challenges and just pointing out the challenges would make you think twice when you design. So the things that you have to take into consideration. Sometimes the kitchen is far from the main entrance. Sometimes there are two entrances that limits your uh, entering room in your kitchen and limits the number of cabinets you can have. Sometimes there's no window or have a very large window maybe here, and it limits the number of your cabinets that you want to put in. Sometimes it's out in a closed room, and you need to open up some walls, and sometimes it's too narrow, too large. Yes, being too large can be a challenge as well, as you have to think about the lighting, the space that you create to make it more functional and not be and more useful to the owner. Um, Sometimes there are more than two windows in one kitchen, and that also creates some challenges. Um, the indirect access to dining rooms are also problematic. But again, these are things that you can overcome if you think through it. Being too small is also another thing. Especially in older homes when they didn't have any dishwasher, and now you need to add one. You have to think where you can put it. Okay. A location of the kitchen. For those who've studied design, they know that we are in residential design. We have social zones, we have work zones, and we have private zones. And they interchangeably use different words for it, maybe semi-private or public space or zone. But kitchen is basically a work zone that has to be near to the entrance of the house because of the shopping or disposing the trash, taking out the trash. You want to take it through the rest of the house, those things that comes with it. Um, the kitchen can be seen by guests. It has to have direct relations to the dining place where you eat, maybe dining room, dining area, and has no direct relation to your private zone. Private zones are basically your bathrooms, your full, especially full bathrooms, and not the guest bathroom. Um, or your master bedrooms and other bedrooms as well. So maybe a hallway can be in between, but it shouldn't be seen from the kitchen. You shouldn't be seeing from a kitchen to your bedroom. That's what it says. All right. Um, all right. Now we talk about the layout of your kitchen. Um, we have something called work triangle theory. When you take the food out, you wash it, and you cook it. So that's create a triangle right there. In those typical layouts that you can see, we have single wall. It's called. You have seen it in your workplace. A very small, limited, or maybe places where space is limited. You have gallery type. Again, you can take a look at the triangle. The L shape, you can do, take it out, wash it, cook it, freeze it. Okay, the U shapes, yes, it's a U shape, right? And the L shape with an island. So that's called an island because we're not familiar with the term. One thing I wanted to say about the work triangle, the work triangle has can't be too far. Um, Look, if you have in this image, this is your work triangle. You can't have your refrigerator here because it would be too far, and there's a barrier in between, so your triangle isn't that sufficient. Um, and it should function the way it should. I mean, take a look of how easy and would be. Um, one, oh, yeah, this is what I want to tell you. I remember. When you design a kitchen, it's nice to have some type of to fill a pot with water. You don't want to put it in a dangerous situation when kids are running, especially on the gallery type. Try to make these two, the sink and the stove, in the same row. So you don't have to take the pot and put it when it's, especially again in on a gallery situation, where kids or a person might come across. So if it's from here to here, it would be much easier to handle. Okay, that's the truth. Um, but look, they didn't necessarily follow the thing that I said, and it's something that you want to be aware of. Maybe on the rangers, sometimes you've seen those faucet that comes out of wall that could bring water, so you don't have to take the burning or boiling pot here and there, or heavy lifting of a pot, of a filled pot to oven or stove. Um, so again, these are different shapes of a kitchen layouts with work triangle. Let's go back. Talk about pantry. We talk about pantry. Or talk about um, focal points. So when you design, try to find a focal point. Focal point for design students are very important because it's create a centralized it's idea of a place to put things around it. So if, for example, in this kitchen, you might say the focal point is the island, and or even the backsplash can be the focal point. In this kitchen, again, the island can be, this window can be the central focal point. This creative wall can be as a focal point. So it's something that you want to have not only in a design kitchen of the design of a kitchen, but in a different design as well. So same rule applies. Even again, backsplash can be, or some lightings and something that creates a focal point. That's very important. So we talk about the work triangle theory. Okay, now we are going to talk about the operation of the door for kitchen cabinets. When you design a kitchen, and this is the previous one, imagine how much space you need when the door gets opened up. Okay, so this is a dishwasher, and you don't want that to hit the space, the door for the refrigerator. You don't want this to be open and hit the island. So when you design, consider the minimum space that you need for the cabinet door to get opened up and let you do work. Or the sitting. That's also um, if you are designing it this way. Okay. Yeah, cabinet doors and appliances, very important. Pantry. In America, we like to stock things up. So especially when we have snow or something that coming to our way, we like to go to Costco or a place like this and stock up all the things we can put in our pantry. So here you see like a little room that will be a place for our dried food, the unperishable food items. If you have the opportunity, if you have the room or space, it can be. But I've seen in small apartments they use a cabinet as a pantry. So it can be a large cabinet as well, but it's nice to have it. Now, when you pick finish, first of all, you have to think about your style. Uh, first of all, first thing first, the three questions: what, why, and where. What your style is, why you pick that style, and where you want to use it. So if you are putting this, let's say you're designing for a cabin, you want to go with something less formal, maybe lighter colors, you know. If you're designing for a high end, probably a darker wood or a little sheen to it. So think about what your style is and go for it. Another thing to consider when you choose a backsplash or a countertop, it's very important to think that where if your cook is using it daily and how strong those countertops will perform, how strong they will be. The countertops that are marble, they're nice in pictures and you've seen it a lot in Architectural Digest, but they're not as practical as you might think. They show the drops of your red wine or things like that very uh, vigorously, so it's not nice. Um, and sometimes you want to use two type of countertops or two different type of cabinet doors. That's also a consideration. Um, so picking your material, laying out things, and you can see where things might go, where you want to have open cabinet doors, shelves, and where you want to use clothes or drawer and things like that. They all come with experiences, but I'm sure that as you go along and you interview your client, you get better and you can pick smarter. Some stores or you can use SketchUp to do the 3D or a presentation like this. It helps you to lay out and have a better imagination of what your kitchen is going to look before you pick your style. But you have to look and train your eye to see will be nice with what items. I'm going to talk about more in details in the next video.